What's up, guys? Today we have an awesome class set up for you guys with the ARX. Now you can use this with any variant you have. You can use the Steel Bite. The best variant's the Hole Puncher in my opinion, but Steel Bite's also good. Or you can just use the base variant, whatever you like. Now I'm going to go through the attachments, the perks, all the things I like to use, how I like to use it, things like that. And I'm going to show a little bit of gameplay in the background in a little bit. But first, I just want to go through the class setup. So I'm using the ARX-160 Hole Puncher, which in my opinion is the best one because it does +2 damage and you only lose -1 accuracy and -1 handling. And you don't really hip fire for the handling with an ARX, which is a burst rifle, or the accuracy doesn't matter because it is a burst rifle, so you don't really need anything for that. So to go along with it, I put the quick draw grip as my first attachment, which is just important on almost any gun in the game, so you can snap aim on someone like this, like that. And then I also like the attachment stock. I went through all the attachments, tested them out in all the game modes I usually play. There's no point in putting extended mags on this gun, because it just got a buff, so it has 45 rounds in the clip. Extended mags will give it 67. But you're never going to need 67 bullets in the clip if you can, if it's a 3-round burst and you can 1-burst people. There's just no point. I'd also never use a foregrip just because it's a burst rifle, so you just don't need to up your accuracy. Laser sight you don't need, but everything else is probably fine. You could use a noob tube. I mean, I don't see why, or a tracker. But one attachment that is really good that I'd recommend in the search and destroy game mode is what I do is I'd switch stock or a red dot sight for suppressor. And since depending on what variant you have, I have the ARX Hole Puncher, which does +2 damage, so decreasing your range really won't affect it since you have more damage already. But I use the stock because when you go in firing range, you can see you can move really fast and you can move side to side while aiming down sight. So this is also important because if someone's jumping, you want to be able to track them and get your bursts on them, which is really important for this. And I also like the red dot sight because you can see when you take this off, I mean, iron sights are decent, but they kind of take up a lot in front of you. The part of the gun that you see first kind of takes up a lot of space. So you can either use suppressor, what I'd recommend, or if you don't really like the iron sight too much, I'd recommend your red dot sight. Just a nice, clean sight. It aims in really fast with the quick draw grip. It's just really easy to track people if they're jumping around. Now onto the perks, or actually the wild cards first. I use primary gunfighter, which is important because you always want 3 attachments on your guns. I mean, otherwise it's just going to make your gun not as good as other guns. For second wild card, we're using perk 3 grade here. And now to go through the perks. For perk 1, we have low profile. One of the most important perks you can use in this game because everybody's constantly running UAVs, and this will take you off of UAVs, tracking rounds, and exo ping. Now for perk 2, we're running blind eye. So this is awesome in game modes that like domination or something that take up a lot of your that game modes that have a lot of score streaks, because blind eye will take you off of them. So if there's a warbird or something up there, you won't be able to get shot by it unless someone's manning it. And then perk 3, we have basically the perks that I'd use on any class in the game: blast suppressor and toughness. Blast suppressor is important so you stay off the enemy's radar when you're using exo movements, which if you don't think about it, you're actually using constantly. And then toughness is very important for a burst rifle because you want to land all your shots on someone. And when you're bursting, if someone's shooting at you, you don't want your aim going all over the place. I don't use any exo abilities or exo launchers, but if you took off a streak, I'd recommend exo overclock. That's really the only exo ability I recommend, just because you don't have to pull up an iPad on your phone to equip it, and it's just a nice speed boost to get to like the enemy spawn or whatever you want. Now for the score streaks, I like the UAV. I usually don't run it with anything unless I run assist points, which is only 50 points. So that's nice. Your teammates will give you a lot of points for getting kills. Then I like the bombing run. I don't run it with anything. You can do stealth or additional bomber, but other than that, there's nothing really important to put on it. And then I like the warbird with aggressor, so I can stay on the ground and the warbird will get kills for me without me having to man it. And if you're in a lobby with people not having blind eye on, it will get you so many kills. It's just one of the best streaks in the game. Now let's get into the gameplay. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys this gameplay because I want you guys to know how I personally run this weapon and how I go around maps and things like that. Because when you use it normally, like
the camo,
you have to know where to use it, what gunfights to engage, things like that. So I recommend you can go close range if you have very good aim.
Like gold.
The only problem is if you hit fire, it can get pretty bad. But if you aim down sight and you have really good aim at close range, you can easily one burst people. So that's always something good. But
What?
I recommend medium to long range. Long range, this gun is amazing. You can one or two burst people across the map. And medium range, the exact same thing. It's just short range. I mean, yeah, you can run through buildings and stuff like that. But I don't recommend up in your face unless you completely have amazing aim and you can one burst people. But so I'd recommend more medium range gunfights, and you can engage in long range really easily. Just beware of short range. Maybe have an ASM1, pick one up off the ground, something like that if you're going to run through a building. Other than that, all the game modes I recommend are Search and Destroy is an amazing gameplay. I showed you guys in the class setup that you could switch a red dot sight or a stock attachment or quick draw, any of those three that are really good. You could switch it for a suppressor. I'd recommend switching your red dot sight for a suppressor just because like it's just an extra kind of thing. It's not a necessity. But if you do that, it will be very good because you're going to be able to one burst people, flank them, all those kind of things in Search and Destroy, and they're going to have no clue where you are. So it's a great way to use that.
What?
Other game modes I recommend, Team Deathmatch and Kill Confirm, those kind of things are always good because they're not really as rushy, so it's great for this gun's medium and long range gunfights. And then also, I really like Domination because it's just a really fast-paced game mode, and you don't always have to rush straight into the like B flag and things like that. You can just stay around them, hover around them, and then you can get those nice more medium range gunfights if you stay around the flags instead of just rushing to them. So this is just how I personally run this gun. I think it's great, especially with the streak setup. Obviously, if you're doing more of a Search and Destroy and things like that, where you're not expecting to go on long streaks, maybe you don't need the streaks. Maybe just a UAV or like putting on an XO ability like XO overclock, things like that, whatever you may think. But besides that, those are the main game modes I'd recommend. I wouldn't recommend things like hardpoint, just because like hardpoints are usually inside of things, and like if you use a hardpoint, you don't really want to be too close range with this. But the way you would play things like that, like a momentum match, you don't really want to do that. But if you stay hovering around the momentum flag, you could definitely do well staying at medium range. But using it, you don't want to get too close up and staying on the momentum point. But I hope you guys do like this class setup. Hopefully you can use it this way. Hopefully it really helps you guys out. I know the ARX's buff made this such an amazing gun, and everybody's getting like the hole puncher and good variants like the steel. But whatever variants you guys do have, they're probably going to work really well with this class setup. I hope you guys did enjoy this class setup. It's really helped me out. It's rated #1 for KD boosting using the ARX hole puncher, so using the ARX is just a great way to up your KD, and it's just an awesome gun to use. It's one of my favorites now. But I hope you guys did enjoy this class setup. I've been using this class setup for about a week or two, and it's really helped me out. I think it's an awesome gun. But make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you use this class setup and it works for you, you make adjustments, things like that. And let me know if you like this class setup when you use it, or if you'd like to see a different gun, maybe your favorite gun, like the AK or something like that. But just make sure to let me know what you'd like to see next. Well, other than that, until next time, I'm out. Peace.
Oh my god.